Frank, and this is episode 48 of But Let's Face It. Daredevil has been canceled by Netflix just 6 weeks after the October 19th release date for season 3. The series did not conclude. There was more story left to tell, and they were planning on telling it. Showrunner Eric Olesen had pitched a season 4. After being introduced to Dex, we were clearly going to get a proper introduction for Bullseye. The show received critical praise since its beginning. Netflix is secretive about their numbers, but I'm sure they were fine for season 3. It therefore seems odd to pull the plug on Daredevil. But let's face it, this wasn't about art, the number of eyeballs watching, or reviews. This was about business. Not even money, but business. It wasn't that making a season 4 wouldn't have penciled out. It would have. But Netflix makes more money when it streams content it owns outright. And Netflix has to pay Disney for Marvel shows. Disney, on the other hand, wants to stream content on a platform that it owns. In this case, the upcoming Disney Plus, which will be a competitor with Netflix. Both sides want the lion's share of whatever they put on, and another season of Daredevil doesn't allow both of them to dominate a contract in which they both take a vast majority of the money. Disney and Netflix greedily want most of the slices of pie. Wilson Fisk would approve of these decisions on both sides. Disney Plus might as well be headquartered in the penthouse Wilson Fisk was kept in for most of season 3. As for the show of Daredevil itself, I liked it. This new season was just as good as the first two. But that isn't to say I didn't think it had problems. Sometimes the characters talk way too intensely and way too emotionally to heighten the tension and drama. Probably the worst of these exchanges are between Matt Murdock and Karen Page, especially when they're whispering. But mostly they're kept apart throughout season 3, which helps. Charlie Cox had gotten himself into really good shape to portray Daredevil, but he still has a strangely thin pencil neck, which just seems weird. The series plays fast and loose with the comic book stories they are based on, which is mostly fine. Story changes from one medium to another are inevitable. But in this case, most of the original story decisions were better. The show probably goes too far to delineate criminal factions by ethnicity. To show Wilson Fisk's rise to power, he must eliminate the Russians, the Chinese, the Yakuza, the Irish, and in season 3, the Albanians. Wow. If there had been a season 4, I wonder how our heroes and or the Kingpin would have been able to bring down that crime syndicate from Yemen. The TV show of Daredevil goes way over the quota of time an audience needs to watch Daredevil healing and recovering. 3 episodes into this new season, I found myself wishing that Matt Murdock could get a blood transfusion from Wolverine. I mean, it feels like half of the production budget must have gone to fake blood for Charlie Cox's scabs. That said, if the opening credits promise anything, it's blood. And what a magnificent opening credits they are. I literally binge-watched all 3 seasons, and not once did I speed my way through those captivating credits. They really sell the tone of the show, nay, the character itself, so well. Charlie Cox is fine, but what makes Daredevil work is how well suited the character and the universe surrounding him is for season-long story arcs. And make no mistake, this is a dominant and unique storytelling canvas of our time. Feature-length screenplays adhere firmly to Aristotelian 3-act structure, but with the birth and ascendancy of shows specifically made for an entire season to be released all at once, Aristotle may be on life support. Daredevil is addictive, and each episode ends with bait to make you plow into the next one. I take the bait every time. Front and center for this is the Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio has given a lot of affected performances in his career, and Wilson Fisk is one of them. But it really works. His very specific delivery is unusual. This isn't how I ever imagined the Kingpin sounding when I read the comics, but it's captivating. Moreover, the Kingpin, who openly admits to playing the long game, is exactly the sort of nemesis you want to see over the course of a 13-episode season. In fact, it plays much better than a mastermind who hatches a plot that unfolds over the course of a 2-hour movie. From planting the seeds of financial burdens on Agent Nadim to making Foggy Nelson's family indebted to him, the Kingpin's slow rise back to complete control is fun to watch over the course of season 3. And it's tough to keep your eyes off of Wilson Fisk. Perhaps the most memorable scene in the season is when Wilson Fisk meets Esther Falb, a Holocaust survivor who has reclaimed the painting Rabbit in a Snowstorm from Wilson Fisk's estate. The painting had been taken from her family by the Nazis. We assume Fisk will kill her to get the painting back, but instead he lets her keep it, realizing that this is what his beloved Vanessa would want. I certainly didn't see it coming, and I am always impressed when villains are given depth. The Kingpin was able to look at the big picture and see what was best, even if it meant he couldn't get everything he wanted. And let's face it, it's a shame that Netflix and Disney can't do the same thing.